Guys, my name is Portia. Welcome back to my channel. So guys, today we're continuing with the live reaction for Love's Blind. But y'all, I have to speed up because the reunion show is in a few days and I am only on episode 4 at this point, episode 4, y'all. So I am in this video, I am going to include episodes 4, 5, and 6. But you guys know, as per usual, I have my bubbly, my sparkling water. So y'all, let's get into episode 4. If you are ready for this, stay tuned.
I'm going to follow my intuition and be true to myself. I hope that you can understand that.
So guys, we got through the first 15 minutes of episode 4, and so it started exactly where it finished in episode 3. Quick recap. So in episode 3 ended with Anu wanting to go into the pods, really to lay out her heart to Patrick to tell him where she stands. However, Patrick was like, hold on for a minute. Episode 3 ended there. Episode 4 started off with Patrick pretty much saying, my spleen has told me that you are not the person for me, and so I have decided to break it off with you. And it really took Anu by surprise because she thought that he was also ready for that next step, which would be proposal. And so she really was heartbroken. She started crying and she was really blindsided by it all. And I felt bad for her because I felt like their disconnect came from a moment of miscommunication. And had they just taken a little bit more time, maybe one extra conversation, one extra pods moment, that it could have played out differently for them. I think it was a misunderstanding. I think they both pretty much felt the same way about each other. However, I think the conversation when the previous pod, how Patrick left, in regards to her feeling a little unsure about a proposal. It wasn't because of her feelings for him had changed. It was because it was moving kind of fast for her. So I felt like if they would have communicated that a little bit better, things could have ended better for them or differently for them. But that happened in the first 5 or so minutes. So they are no longer together. Then we fast forward to Barda and Jed, who are now engaged. All right, guys, cheers to our, 4th engaged couple at this point. Yeah, 4th engaged couple at this point. And then we saw Kira and Megan's reveal, and they too are just excited and happy to see each other.
I don't believe in fairy tales. I feel like I'm starting to.
So guys, Katisha is giving me Katisha. So you guys, I've told you from the very beginning, I am Team Demola. Demola has been very intentional with Katisha about how he feels. And so the first parts that we see is Katisha and Demola wrote this girl a whole poem and was planning to propose to her because remember, she told him in the last episode that he is her number 1 and he is her pick, and she would not change her mind. But then we saw in the pods in episode 3 that she actually, after speaking with Javan, she decided that now she's back on the fence. She's not sure who she wants anymore. But since that moment, she has not updated Demola. So this guy went into the pod today ready to propose to her, wrote her a whole poem. This whole time he has been intentional about his feelings for her, and he has been he has showed it. So she goes in the pod and she pretty much breaks this man's heart and saying, you know, no, I'm not choosing you. I have decided to go with my other connection, which was stronger. And Demola is heartbroken. Like, I mean, listen, we're only 30 minutes in, not even 30 minutes into this episode, and we got two people on here crying heartbroken. That's just so sad. But what I do like about Demola is that when she pretty much broke it off with him, he didn't demean her, he didn't get upset. He just said, you know what, she's not the person for me. And I truly like that.
getting to know you. Obviously, you're a great girl, and I wish you the best in the future. But this is probably time now when I have to say goodbye. So
I genuinely do hope that you meet someday because you are an amazing person.
So guys, Demola, you know, he took his L and he was a gentleman about it. So Katisha then goes to her next pod, which was Javan, and she was unsure if Javan would still want to be with her. And you know, Javan's comment before he went in the pods was, I'm not going to be anyone's second best. And he's going to let Katisha show or explain or share with him how he feels. And I'm like, wait, have we not been listening to Katisha this whole time in the pods when she's been telling him how she feels and what she wants? He's been very standoffish. And on top of that, he's telling the guys, oh, at this point, you know, she has to propose to me. Like, this guy, I don't know if he's putting on a front, you know, because he doesn't want to be vulnerable, or if this is just who he is. And I just, like, this whole love triangle has made me very sad for Katisha. Because I feel like she didn't make the right choice. I felt like she went based off of her comfort, like what she's used to those guys where she has to pull information out of and work so hard to be with, opposed to being with someone who is willing to give you all of that. So guys, I told you guys that Demola had a whole poem and everything ready to say to Katisha for a proposal. Now, Javan comes in there and say, hey, I didn't write nothing for you. I didn't do any of that. I probably should have, but I didn't. But I want to ask you to marry me. So Javan asked Katisha to marry him, and she said yes. Cheers to an engagement. So Javan goes back to the male quarters, and he tells everybody he's engaged. And yeah, I'm telling y'all, Demola is a good man. He is a good dude. He didn't act funny. He didn't act stank. He congratulated Javan on his engagement. He said, you know what, guys, let's cheers to it. Let's celebrate it. Like, he's a good guy. I think Katisha in the end is gonna realize that she made a mistake. But, you know, it was her choice. We're just out here watching the drama unfold. That's it, y'all. Okay, then we saw, after that, we saw Barda and Jed's reveal. That was really cute. And I'm a little person. I'm like 4'11". Barda has got to be like 4'8" or 4'10". Like, she is a little one. But she's a pretty girl. She seems very sweet. And then we had Javan and Katisha's reveal. And they both seemed to be pretty excited about what they saw and happy with each other. Right before the reveal, though, Javan did let us know that he's a very physical person. So, you know, Katisha being attractive is very important. I wouldn't expect anything less from Javan at this point. Okay. Yeah, guys, so this episode is unfolding with a lot of stuff. A lot of things. So let's just keep watching. Y'all, I'm telling you, every time I sit down to record a video, it's either raining, it's either a whole bunch of traffic outside, traffic in the hallway, and now my light just died on me. But anyway, y'all, we gotta keep this rolling because we got episodes to watch. So this episode actually switched from pods to vacation. The engaged couples were all flown out to this nice little island, beautiful place. And so the couples are meeting up. And so one thing that just seems to keep rearing its head is the Katisha and Demola drama. Apparently, Demola had told all the guys in the quarters back when they were in the pods that Katisha told him that he was the one, that he was a dead set pig. And so now Cal is like, listen, Cal's asking Sarova, so what's up with your girl? Like, why did she tell Demola that he was going to be the one that she picked, and then she just pulled the okie dokie on him? Sarova was like, You know, she was following her heart. I don't know, you know, I can't say why she did what she did. But Cal was like, listen, look, I guess demoralized Cal's boy. Cal's like, listen, like, that's my boy, and what she did wasn't right. So then we go to Katisha and Javan's date. Now, that seemed kind of awkward. I feel like since they've been on this little vacation, Katisha seems to always be reassuring Javan, but I don't think Katisha is getting that reassurance back from him. Like she's saying that, like, I'm glad I'm here with you. You know, I'm glad we're here. He is saying, yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. So they are very awkward right now. I think out of all the couples as of right now in this episode, Javan and Katisha are very awkward with each other, while the other couples seem to be meshing together very naturally. And I don't know if it's that cloud hanging over them with the whole Demola situation, or if it's just one of those situations where they were better in the pods than they are outside the pods, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Me. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
What do you think when you're in a pods?
You just intrigued me because you're just so articulate.
Okay.
You're at too cool for school sometimes.
So we just saw the scene where Ashley, Barda, and Katisha are talking about the relationships, and Ashley and Barda brings up that their guys have said "I love you" to them, and so they ask Katisha, you know, how about Javan? Has he said, or have you said? And she's like, no. The word love is very, you know, I just don't say it lightly. Girl, none of us say it lightly. So I feel like it's just deflection. Like she's probably in her head wondering, like, okay, well, these girls are telling me that their guys are saying I love you, but Javan isn't saying anything. And so she's just playing it off like it's okay, but I know she's worried about it. And Ashley makes a statement that, do you think she's sabotaging herself because she last minute switched from Demola to Javan, and maybe she's just taken more time to get to that I love you part of the relationship? But I think it's just because them two ain't got it. Javan and Katisha don't have it. I mean, somehow in her mind, in the pods, they made the better couple than her and Demola, but it's just not there. It's just not there. Then Sarova brings up the fact that her and Cal had a talk, and Cal said that his type is usually blonde, white and blonde, and Barda is white and blonde. So as Cal is just hanging out talking to Barda, of course Sarova has some insecurities that are coming up, which is understandable. I mean, I think this would be a great time for her to bring it up to Cal so they could discuss it and he can give her some kind of reassurance about it. Scene where Cal is like, Katisha, can I talk to you for a second? You know, I told you guys that Cal was out here rooting for Demola, and he was like, listen, what she did wasn't right, and so I'm gonna ask her about it. Listen, Cal is standing 10 toes down. He's telling Katisha, he's asking her, no, first of all, he's telling her Demola did nothing wrong. He thought that he was the pick. And then he asks what happened, and her reasoning for every time someone asks her is Javan and I's connection was stronger. What does that mean? Like, describe that into words. What does that mean? Does that mean you could speak to him on deeper things, at a deeper level? Does that mean you guys have more things in common as far as the future, careers, family, religion, spirituality, lifestyles? Like, what does that mean? You have a better connection with Javan over Demola. That makes no sense. Like, you don't even know why. Subconsciously you know why, because he's the type of guy you would go for in the outside world, but other than that you have no reasoning for it. So that concludes episode 4, y'all. So you made it to episode 4. So now we're gonna get started on episode 5.
Getting down to Monday.
I want to ask you, Marty.
It's beautiful at the same time to see him and getting more time, but at the same time, we need to get married, so I hope she made the right decision.
So guys, we made it through the first 15 minutes of episode 5. So it started off with Billy and Ashley. And I feel like I don't talk about them that much, but they just seem to be so happy with each other. They're really enjoying each other's company, which I think is very, very cute. Then we fast forward over to Megan and Kieran. And again, the topic of how Megan loves and how she shows up in relationships is reflective of how she saw her mom with men growing up. But the conversation of saying the words "I love you" did come up. Kieran has said it. He wants Ashley to say it, preferably before they get married, but he understands that for some people it's slower, and for her it's a little bit slower. And she explained it to him. He took it very well. So he said he's willing to wait, which I think is so sweet. And then we see Cal and Sarova. So remember, I just mentioned to you guys in episode 4, Sarova was feeling a little iffy about whether or not she was Cal's type, and Cal reassured her, like, yeah, normally I would go for this type of girl, but I met you here. We are building a relationship, and I'm sticking with you. Don't worry about nothing else. And so that made her feel bad. I mean, it made her feel better, which I am glad. I'm so glad she brought it up, because it's better for you to bring up issues or insecurities that you have now, opposed to let them linger on, because it's going to cause insecurities, it's going to cause other issues. So I'm a big advocate on sharing your feelings, but in the right way, in the right setting, in the right mindset. So the couples just spoke to the hosts, and they were telling them that now, the vacation is over. Now it's time to go back to the real world. And how you guys feeling? Pretty much everybody is, nervous to meet parents and excited about marriage. But Javan and Katisha are both saying, like, yeah, Javan saying if it gets to the point that we don't get married, then the journey isn't over for us. And then Katisha says, oh yeah, we after living together, we feel like we both don't want to make that step, that we're okay with saying it. And I'm like, these two, these two, I think they're very unsure of each other, and I feel like they don't know how to explain that, and then they don't know what to do at this point. So they still are very awkward, even holding hands and conversation. It just feels very awkward and very forced. So I'm eager to see how it's going to work out for them once they actually move in together. So guys, we just saw the scene where the guys are talking, and somehow Demola just keep living in everybody's head rent free. He comes up again, and so listen, Cal is going to fence for that guy. Like, he is going all the way to the end for Demola. And so Cal and Javan are talking about the whole Demola last minute switch. And so Javan is like, yeah, you know what, I agree. I'm actually going to ask her about that myself. But guys, then we fast forward to a scene with Katisha and Ashley. So Ashley pulls aside Katisha and says, hey, you mentioned that you and Javan haven't said I love you. Are you worried about that? And she said, no, not really. Ashley said, do you still have Demola on your mind? And Katisha pretty much starts crying. She's like, it's not fair that she has to keep justifying why she chose who she chose. And Demola is, he keeps coming up, but he didn't do anything wrong. And she's like, she came on this show for herself and she felt like she made the best choice. But she starts crying. I do think it's I think it's unfortunate that the topic keeps coming up, but the topic keeps coming up because I think a lot of people also felt a little blindsided, like what happened. Couples are now packing up, getting ready to go back to the real world, and Javan and Katisha talks about the whole conversation between her and Ashley. And again, Javan to me is not the type of guy who gives reassurance, who comforts. He's more like, oh, you talked about it? Well, you made your choice now, so whatever happens in the past. This guy is just physically here. Like, mentally and definitely emotionally, he is nowhere to be found.
What's bothering you? What's making you think?
It's nothing specific. I just feel like the couples are asking questions, and I don't want people to create a story for me.
Tell me.
I feel like what I said was silly.
First of all, Javan is very manipulative in a way where he will say something and then say, but if you don't want to tell me, then you don't have to. Or if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. He is asking about what happened between Katisha and Demola. What was the conversation that was had? He's like, you know what, if you don't want to tell me, you don't have to tell me. But you asked, right? This is your fiance. And this is the conversation that you guys need to have so that you understand what happened. And you can conclude your own view of the situation, so that way when people come at you or at her with stuff, you guys have talked about it. It has been resolved between you two. And as he's talking to her, he's not giving any eye contact. He's looking out the window. He's looking down. And he's now saying, like, what did you tell Demola that in one instance he was 100% sure you were going to pick him until like less than 24 hours you don't. And so Katisha's just saying that, you know, what she said to him, she felt like it was prematurely said, and that she probably should just meet up with Demola to explain everything to him. We made it to the end of episode 5, and episode 5 ended with Billy and Ashley going to meet Ashley's father. So Billy is nervous for 2 reasons. One reason is Ashley did not tell her dad where she was going, and for 2, Ashley has never brought home a boyfriend. So they're going to break it to her father that Billy is not just a boyfriend but a fiance. That's how episode 5 ended. Like, I am so glad that episode 5 was much shorter than the previous 4 episodes. So yeah, guys, let's keep this party going. Episode 6, here we come. So guys, we started episode 6 with the conversation between Ashley's dad and Billy. It's always so cute to see how the parents react, especially when the fathers get emotional. So the dad kind of got emotional not because Ashley is getting married, but because of who Ashley is, the woman that she has become. And he's a very proud father, and so it made him very emotional, just, you know, knowing that he raised a good girl and this is her decision, he's gonna bless it. So that was just so cute to see. It was heartwarming to see. So guys, we made it through the first 15 minutes of episode 6. Yay, me, because I'm doing good on time. So we started with the whole Ashley and Billy meet Ashley's father scene, and then we fast forwarded to Javan and Jed had a meetup, and again, Demola conversation comes up again. So Javan is admitting that the whole Demola situation has kind of affected how him and Katisha are connecting. And then we fast forward to Katisha and Sarova meets up, and Sarova talks about how she's planning to meet Cal's family soon, and she asks Katisha how is it going with her and Javan, and Katisha saying that she do believe as well that the whole Demola situation has affected how they communicate, but they're trying to work past it. She's more emotional about it, whereas Javan is more logical about it, so they aren't meeting on the same level or same page with it, but they're still working through. And then the couples are going to each other's homes. So Megan goes to Kieran's home. So Kieran by profession is a gamer. So she's impressed that he has found something that he loves and he has made a career of it, which I give him kudos, because 99% of us cannot. We have to work a job first and then do our passion later.
Driven is very much systems go, go, go.
The army has moulded me. The army has made me the man I am today. I'm proud of how it's done me because it's made me a better man because of it. It's good.
So we're watching the scene with Ashley and Billy, and they're talking about living together. And so the things that Ashley's bringing up is Billy is very routine. He has a regimen, and he likes things done a certain way. He gives the military credit for that, but I feel like I can be the same way, and I've never been in the military. So Ashley's just saying that Billy liked for things to be done right now at 8 o'clock, but she's willing to do it at 8:05, and that she wants him to understand that she wants to do the cooking and cleaning as well, but if she doesn't do it right this second, that doesn't mean that she doesn't want to do it. And I agree with I understand where they're coming from, because I had to, and I think most women have to make that same compromise, because we like things to be done a certain way. When our partner tries to help and do those things and they're not done in our way, then we tend to get annoyed or frustrated, or we just say, next time I'll do it myself. But I have learned that his way is his way. As long as it is done, then it's done. Whatever the case may be, washing dishes, folding clothes, laundry, I don't care. If the task is done, then it is done. I could care less. And so that's what I think Ashley wants Billy to realize. Like, don't focus so much on it being done meticulously in a certain way. Just focus on it. Just focus on the outcome that I want to help you do it.
I feel excited. I feel a little bit of nerves, but it's like.
So guys, we have seen Megan meet with Kieran's friend. She seems to fit right in. I didn't have any worries, and I don't think he did either. And then we go to a scene with Jed and Barda, and Barda mentioned why she is a very independent woman, and that's because of the women in her country were pretty much, kept in the house, traditional roles, a mother, housewife, and that was pretty much it. So they relied on their spouse for income and support and livelihood, and she does not want to be that kind of woman. She's told she's told Jed that she does not want to be that kind of woman, and I think that's something that he's still working on dealing with, because he always does this body language, like he's uncomfortable whenever she says things like that. She made a statement that I don't need you, I want you. And I'm gonna tell all the women out here now, men do not want to be wanted, they want to be needed. I wish I could tell you why. Fast forward to dinner with Javan and Katisha, and I believe that they did sleep together on the vacation. I think they did. But they're still very awkward. Like, it is very awkward. It's tension between them two. It's just feeling forced. So of course Demola comes up again. And so Javan does give Katisha his support with reaching out to Demola to see if he's willing to talk about everything. And homegirl decides to text Demola on her date with Javan. Ma'am, that was not the right move. You could have waited tomorrow in the afternoon and text that man during business hours. not on your date with your fiance. The heck?
Kind of like saw as potentially being my future wife. I wrote a proposal and all that.
So we just watched the scene with Demila and Katisha finally do their meetup, and Demila, just asked her, if she's happy, and she said, yeah. Well, first of all, she just stuttered a lot, and she hesitated a lot. Then she finally said, yeah. And he was like, no hard feelings. I'm not upset. Just the right person will come for me. I will meet the right person at the right time. And he said, if you're happy, I'm happy. But she did admit that throughout the process, she was burying her head in the sand, meaning that she didn't want to really make a decision, and that she was back and forth between the two to the very last minute. So we all know that whenever you rush to make a decision, you don't make the right one. But nonetheless, they talked it out. He doesn't have any hard feelings, which I didn't think that he would. And she said that now that they've talked it out, she knows that he's okay. She can stop holding back with her and Javan. So that's telling me that she had some guilt there somewhere with all the drama that happened with her and Demila. Oh my. So guys, we're coming to the end of episode 6. Yay, we made it. So in the last 15 minutes or so, Zaroba meets Cal's family. Mother and grandmother are on board, but Cal's brother is like, he was like, you sure about this? He's like, he said, if I had to bet my life on it, it would not last. Because he said Cal is very routine, and having a woman in his life would throw him off routine, so he's not going to stay committed that long. I'm like, bro, like, are you hating? Are you saying Cal? It's just very simple. Like, I don't know. And then we meet Barda's parents. They're so cute. They look older though. Maybe they had her later in life. But they're smitten too with Jed and Barter and the whole situation. And mom is already asking about grandchildren. She said she wants 6. Barter said, we'll settle for 2. I'll give you 2. And her mom said, don't worry, like, I'll help you with them. I'm like, yes, mama, yes. And so Jed asked Barta's father and her mother for their blessing for their marriage. They both said yes. So that was cute. So then we fast forward to Katisha is talking to Javan about what happened with her meetup with Demila. She's saying that she's glad that she met up with him. She feels this weight lifted off her shoulder. And Javan asks, did you apologize? And I'm thinking, why would she apologize? Apologizing is an admission of guilt. Like, why would she apologize for not picking him? I guess maybe he meant apologize for switching up. I don't know what he meant. But he said that he is proud of her for going to meet him face to face, and that she and that they both agree that now that situation is put to rest, they can both now focus 100% on each other in their relationship. So we shall see what happens with these two in the next episode. So y'all, we made it through 3 episodes, 4, 5, and 6. And I will see you guys in the next video for episode 7 and 8. Cheers.